the countless fungal species spreading across this planet, how did one specific variety, crimson cap speckled with white flecks, become the universal emblem of danger in every child's bedtime story, every textbook diagram, every animated warning? The control system has devoted centuries and immeasurable resources to embedding an automatic dread of the Fly Agaric deep within your neural architecture. But let's entertain a different perspective. What if this meticulously manufactured horror represents the most extensive deception campaign in human civilization? Amanita muscaria, the Fly Agaric, is not a poison. It represents humanity's most ancient entheogenic connector, a living portal linking human awareness to Earth's foundational operating system. While official sources caution about hallucinations and lethal consequences, outcomes virtually unattainable from correctly prepared red Amanita, the true engineers of societal control have quietly employed its constituents for thousands of years to expand their own perceptual horizons and forecasting abilities. Today, we pry open the case file on history's most thoroughly demonized organism and investigate how this fungus can reconfigure your mental landscape, eliminate conditioned attachments, and restore authority over the reality they removed from you before you could speak. Let's dig into historical layers that authorities dismiss as primitive delusion. The Fly Agaric formed the spiritual backbone for nearly every Arctic and subarctic culture, from the Sami reindeer herders to Siberian tribal shamans. These communities recognized it not as a hallucinogenic substance, but as a navigator, a biological apparatus for transcending the constraints of the human vessel. Are you conscious that Santa Claus, flying reindeer, and presents placed beneath evergreen trees are coded representations of Fly Agaric collection rituals performed by indigenous Siberian groups? Medicine gatherers gathered specimens under pine and fir, gifts positioned under the tree, dried them in footwear suspended above cooking fires, and distributed them to households, entering through roof apertures when snow blocked conventional doorways. The system appropriated these images, deliberately distorted them, and repackaged them as commercial holiday folklore, specifically to conceal their genuine significance. Fly Agaric embodies winter's sacred offering, re-establishing humanity's cosmic connection. For generations, understanding of this organism was systematically eliminated by inquisitorial systems and punitive medical authorities, because an unrestricted intelligence communicating directly with existence needs neither religious intermediaries nor political governors. Now we move into the laboratory space, where mythology concludes and the mechanics of spirit begin. The system's principal trapping device is ibotenic acid. In fresh specimens, this substance operates as a nerve toxin, producing considerable physical disturbance. However, when subjected to appropriate heat processing or extended aging, specifically decarboxylation, it converts into muscimol, an exceptional molecular structure functioning as a powerful GABA receptor activator. Muscimol acts as damping fluid for your overstimulated ego mechanism. It doesn't inhibit brain activity. It selectively soothes those neural regions constantly producing anxiety signals, fear reactions, and social conformity programming. The cooperative interaction between the mushroom's molecular components and your internal biochemical environment enables profound communication between brain hemispheres. From a neurological standpoint, this permits the organism to escape the constant fight or flight condition, the stressed state in which the system maintains us continuously, allowing access to modes of profound, restorative processing and enlarged consciousness. Fly Agaric generates no alternative universes. It merely removes the screening mechanisms that block direct perception of genuine reality. Who gains from your fear of Amanita? The psychopharmaceutical manufacturing complex and alcoholic beverage corporations. Ethanol represents systemic toxin, rendering human organisms sluggish and hostile, Therefore, it maintains complete legal status. Fly Agaric serves as anti-alcohol. Ethnobotanical records contain hundreds of verified instances where microdosing practices completely removed craving patterns for all chemical dependency conditions within weeks. The mushroom essentially rewrites corrupted programming within the brain's reward circuitry. Additionally, Amanita reinstates capability for deep healing sleep, the condition during which actual consciousness purification happens. The system fears well-rested, calm, aware humans. It requires agitated, sleep-deprived consumers maintained by caffeine and stress hormone cycles. This accounts for the complex deception framework surrounding Fly Agaric. Official sources classify it as fatally poisonous, yet achieving lethal outcome demands consumption of multiple kilograms of fresh material, physically unachievable for any normal adult. This constitutes deliberate falsehood intended to guarantee you never ingest the actual red pill. Interaction with an archetype as powerful as Amanita muscaria demands complete accountability and intention clarity. Traditional methods never employed fresh mushrooms. That represents fundamental rule. Natural decomposition combined with low-temperature dehydration, maintained below 45 degrees Celsius over prolonged periods, represents in ethnobotanical knowledge an essential conversion process, turning ibotenic acid into pure muscimol. Current research identifies the practice called microdosing as the most available and best documented approach, employing tiny amounts during morning or evening schedules. Traditional understanding maintains such practice creates no perceptual modification while building stable foundation of calmness, centered presence, and physical endurance. Investigators note the mushroom's cumulative effect pattern. It gradually balances hormone levels, decreases widespread inflammatory markers, and restores natural daily rhythms. Essential in ancient practices was purposeful framing, clear awareness of why one approaches the mushroom's power. This represents no entertainment activity, but serious work of mental area clearance. If harvesting personally, maintain respectful protocols, seek uncontaminated forest areas, take only fully developed cap specimens, and always offer thanks to the woodland organism for its gift. Preservation within sealed containers in darkness maintains active properties for extended duration. This represents your independent tool for mental stability within a global system displaying substantial malfunction. The Amanita documentation extends infinitely. Today, we have merely accessed its initial sections. Remember, this mushroom displays crimson coloring as a cease signal to the system and an alert indicator for those seeking authentic understanding. Fly Agaric operates as reflective surface. It supplies nothing from outside. It simply illuminates what already occupies your internal space, helping remove excess material. Individuals who overcome fear of Amanita often realize that other system-generated fears likewise dissolve upon inspection. If prepared for significant involvement with restricted knowledge areas and wish to recover access to awareness untainted by manufactured narratives, subscribe to this channel. Our function involves removing disguises from perceived reality. Distribute this content to those ready to awaken. Activate notifications. Our exploration merely begins. Purity of your internal condition and sharpness of your perception represent ultimate worth. Choice stays yours. Continue believing fear-producing folklore or accumulate courage to encounter genuine natural power without intermediary. Reject the system's privilege to think for you. Search for truth exactly where they try to hide it. Re-establish connection with natural systems, accept complete responsibility for your existence, and preserve sovereign condition.